Peace and blessings. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. Bobby Price, aka Dr. Holistic, and welcome to the journey where I show you how to heal holistically and naturally. And in today's session, we're going to talk about anemia or iron deficiency. Now, this is probably one of the most important deficiencies we could talk about because guess why? It is the #1 deficiency, not only in the US, but worldwide. Okay, and I'm going to explain to you why people are anemic and why are so many people are anemic. And when I give you these reasons, it's going to make it all make sense. All right. Now, before we get into it, let me explain why iron is so important. Okay. Iron is so important because iron sits at the center of every red blood cell. Okay. Inside of a hemoglobin. All right. Now, when you don't have iron, you don't produce hemoglobin. So this is why people will have low hemoglobin, all right, as well too. And if you have iron issues, you're also going to have ferritin issues, okay? So you also notice that your doctor may tell you that you have issues with your ferritin levels as well too. But all of these things are very connected. Now, here's what's important. When you're having iron issues, you're going to have oxygenation issues. Now, I don't have to tell you how important oxygen is because without oxygen, we cease to exist in about 4 minutes without oxygen. Now imagine this, every cell in our body, every inch in our body, every crevice of our bodies has to consistently have oxygen being oxygenated, not only just in the area, but every individual cell, all 37 or 75 trillion cells that compose this entire body that we make up. Every cell has to have oxygen, okay? And at one point, when you breathe in oxygen, that oxygen goes into the body, goes into the blood supply, and then goes throughout the body. It comes back up through the venous supply unoxygenated or deoxygenated. And then you breathe again and it gets oxygenated again. This is this beautiful process of oxygenation or putting oxygen into every cell of the body, and then taking that oxygen out or giving that oxygen away and then doing the cycle all over again. All right. When we stop seeing oxygen oxygenate certain tissues, this is when you see tissues begin to break down. Okay. So oxygen is very important. And at the center of every red blood cell, where that hemoglobin and that iron is, that's what the oxygen attaches to. So whenever you are anemic, okay, this is a really big issue, because everything has to be oxygenated. All tissues begin to break down. The heart begins to break down, okay? So this is why, what people don't understand is when you have this one deficiency, it could cause so many issues. It shows up as temperature sensitivity. It can show up as, wanting to eat ice, okay? It can show up as one of the symptoms that I'm going to talk about. All these symptoms that I'm talking about could be tied to issues with how either the lack of iron is causing the issue or this specific issue is causing the lack of iron. Okay, so you're going to get educated, because the unfortunate thing is if you go into your doctor, all they're going to try to do is give you a supplement. You'll start with that. Okay, and then when that doesn't work, they'll give you an infusion, and then you're getting a blood transfusion. Okay, that's how it's escalating for a lot of women today, because women, unfortunately, are more plagued by this than men are. And even though women are more plagued by anemia than men are, men suffer with this too. We just don't see the outward symptoms. Women actually get to see the symptoms so they know that something needs to be fixed. Okay, so let's get into what is causing your low iron. Okay, we're going to get into that. And again, most importantly, understand that iron is electric and we are electric. Without electricity, we don't get an EKG for our heart, okay? Electrocardiogram, okay? Which if our heart stopped, we use defibrillator paddles, okay? So we need electricity in our heart. We need electricity in our brain to do an EEG, okay? To see those signals, okay? So we are electric, okay? And part of why we're electric is because of this iron, okay? So hugely important. This is a big deficiency that must be corrected, all right? It leads into so many other dis-ease states. Deficiencies turn into disease, Okay, when you correct deficiencies, you ultimately prevent disease. Okay, and in some cases, you can reverse some diseases when you correct certain deficiencies. So hugely important. All right, so let's get into it. Reason number one, you're anemic or your iron is low. Number one, you eat too much sugar. Excessive sugar intake will affect or impair your iron absorption. Most people don't know that. This is why diabetics have so many issues. As I mentioned before, every cell in the body, every tissue in the body has to be oxygenated, all right? The one thing that cancer doesn't like is oxygenation. The second thing it doesn't like is alkalinity, all right? Cancer does not like oxygen, okay? Tissues have to be oxygenated. When they're not oxygenated, they die, okay? This is why diabetics are number one in amputations, number one in blindness, okay? Number one in kidney disease, okay? Things getting lopped off their body because it's becoming gangrene. This is what it is, a lack of oxygenation. And guess what? Number one, excess sugar impairing your ability to absorb oxygen is one of the number one reasons. That sweet tooth that you have, okay? And it's not just sweet stuff. It's breads, it's pastas, it's refined carbohydrates, it's white flour. That is the issue. So that's number one. You got to correct that, all right? Number two, parasites, all right? Parasites are exactly what they sound like, okay? They leech on you. They take away things, and one of those things that they gobble up as soon as you bring it into the body is iron. Parasites love iron, okay? All right, so you got to get rid of parasites. This is why I have a parasite candida cleanse, okay? Which leads me into number three, candida or yeast. The more yeast you have in your body, and I'm not just talking about a yeast infection. I'm talking about if you've ever had, how it shows up. It shows up as that brown toe. It shows up as a yeast infection. It shows up as dandruff in your scalp. It shows up as a jock itch. It shows up as athlete's feet. Okay, it shows up as that white coated tongue in the morning. All of those are signs that you have a yeast overgrowth or a candida overgrowth in the body. Okay, and that is also what is sucking you dry of your iron as well too, and causing you to be anemic as well too. So that's number three. Number four, low stomach acid. Okay, not high stomach acid. See, a lot of you think the issue is that your stomach acid is too high when you have heartburn or acid reflux. No, the real issue is that your stomach acid is actually too low. And when it's too low, you don't break down the food, and then that food rots and ferments and creates gas. And that gas is what's causing this sphincter to open up. And then the little bit of acid that you do have when you lay down goes up through the esophagus, and that's what you experience as acid reflux, okay? But it's caused by not enough stomach acid, low stomach acid. But guess what happens when you don't have enough stomach acid? Well, again, like I just mentioned, you don't break down your food. If you don't break down your food, you can't get the iron out of the food that you ate. This is also what leads to issues with anemia as well too. So a lot of people have low stomach acid, okay? And if you notice that your food takes a long time to digest, or you feel like your food just sits in your stomach right here for a long time before it goes away, that could be a sign. Acid reflux could be a sign. There are many other signs, but it could be that you have low stomach acid, and that's what's causing you to have anemia, okay? That's number four. Number five, heavy periods, okay? I know that it has become very common to have a period for 7 or 8 days, and for that period to have some heavy days. But I'll tell you, and please, all of the women who have done my detox before, okay, if you've done my detox before and you notice after doing the detox that maybe you had a 6 or 7 day period and now you have a 3 or 4 day period after the detox, please comment below. All right, we need to inspire other women to know what this issue is. And also, women don't want to have to go through these heavy periods, these painful periods. And remember, what is a menstrual cycle? A menstrual cycle is a cleaning. It is a detoxification of the womb. Okay, so what that's telling you is that the womb needs to be detoxed. That's why it's so heavy. All right. So please, if you've done my detox before, please comment below what happened after the detox, all right? Which is really important because the heavier the period, the more blood that you're losing. This is also what's causing the iron levels to plummet because you're losing so much blood. Anytime you lose blood, you're gonna lose iron because remember, where is the iron? In the red blood cell, okay? So that could be causing your anemia too, the fact that you have a very heavy menstrual cycle, okay? So that's number 5, all right? Number six is not necessarily what is causing it, okay? But your lack thereof of, I'll say, not eating things or consuming things that are rich in iron, okay? Now, a lot of that is green leafy vegetables. And there's this whole big debate around, what is the best form of iron? Is it non-heme iron or heme iron? Heme iron comes from animal sources, so meat, all right? And heme iron has a higher absorption rate. But here's what I will tell you about heme iron. You should also look up the fact, yes, it has a higher absorption rate than plant iron, but it is also very toxic as well, too. Look at all of the dangers and negative side effects of heme iron, which is coming from meat. Look it up and you will see for yourself, okay? So I recommend plant iron, all right? So getting good sources of iron from plants. Those could be herbs like sarsaparilla, okay? Really great herb, very high and potent in iron. Yellow dock is also high. Dandelion root is also a dandelion leaf. And then burdock root, which is actually a blood purifier, so it cleanses the blood. Now, guess what? Instead of you having to look for those in all one place, okay, this is why I have my herbal iron supplement. So you could check that out for yourself. If you take my herbal iron, you'll probably also notice that your hair grows a little bit as well too. All right, and the supplement has all of those in them. Okay, now there are food sources that you can get as well too, but simply eating a very healthy diet and correcting all of the things that I talked about before, getting away from those unhealthy carbs and sugars, attacking the parasites and the yeast that is actually stealing your iron, increasing the amount of acid in your stomach, okay? But getting rid of a lot of the breads and the pastas and things of that's gonna help with your stomach acid, all right? Doing a detox to clean out the womb will help as well too. And then if you need a supplement too, because that's what a supplement, it is a supplement too to help, then that's what the herbal iron is for. So hopefully this has been sort of a little bit helpful because again, I know a lot of women out there and even men who have low iron, but they aren't aware of it. A lot of them are struggling with this. I have literally seen women have to go to the ER around this. And get no answers, like what is causing this, despite the fact that they're taking a supplement, whether it be a capsule or liquid or an infusion, and then ultimately a blood transfusion, which is the worst thing that anybody has to go through. So hopefully this has been enlightening, informative. Please share this information because again, this is the #1 deficiency in the world. Okay, so we need to get the information out there. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. Comment below. Let me know if you had an aha moment during this. Let me know if you've taken either the detox and it helped your period or the herbal iron supplement. Share that with the world as well too. And keep rocking with me. And in the next video, we'll explore more ways in which we can help heal when it comes to our health, when it comes to our well-being, when it comes to our mind, and when it comes to our body. Until the next video, peace and blessings and Godspeed.